Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of Let's Learn the Mods. Last time on Forestry we covered how to make the automatic farms, and this time I figured we should cover some uses of the items that you gain from the automatic farms. So that's what we're going to be covering today. I'll be back in a minute with a few things set up for you to see. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start off with the peat-fired engine. Peat-fired engines run off of peat, as you might have guessed. And to get peat, you use one of the multi-block farms, which is called a peat bog. You just supply bog earth, and it'll create peat over time. So we're going to use this farm. Or, not this farm, these engines. We'll use them as a source of MJ for the things I'm demoing. Alright. And then we just provide a redstone signal. And some dirt. And these work like Stirling engines or whatever. They just provide MJ when they're provided the resources they need, and they'll create ash over time. Ash can be used in a variety of things. You can look that up in NEI if you're unsure. Alright, and then what we have here is a squeezer. What this does is it allows us to squeeze juice from things such as apples, honey, among other things that can be found in NEI. So if you're curious on that, you can always check NEI. We're going to be doing apples. Apples are a good source of juice, and they work really well in the fermenter for creating this item called biomass, which we can use as a form of a fuel in engines, because eventually you can keep going and it'll create ethanol. Very, very good renewable fuel source. So we're creating apple juice, and we create mulch. So we're going to want an import bus on here. Alright, there we go, import bus. And the export bus is just pulling apples into that. And this is filling up slowly. So let's tell this to bring us apple oak saplings as well as fertilizer, because you need saplings and fertilizer for this to even run. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. Let's set it to stack mode so it'll go quicker. There we go. Alright, so now that'll start creating biomass for us, if we actually had it hooked up to power, which we will in just a second. There we go. So that will start receiving power, and it'll start creating biomass, which will be sent over here to the still. What the still does is it slowly produces ethanol from biomass. So this further refines it, kind of like refining oil in a refinery. It just makes it a much more potent form of fuel. So we'll let that run for a bit, and I'll come back and I'll let you guys see the result. Okay, and we're back. So there are a couple engines that I use for ethanol. One is the biogas engine. Now the thing to note about this one is it needs some heat to warm up. So just throw in some lava into it, and it'll start running. You don't need lava full time, but if you stop it and then start it back up again, or it runs out of fuel and then you start it back up again, you are going to need a little bit of lava so that it can start running again. The other one is a combustion engine, which you need to provide water to keep it cooled. If it doesn't, it'll blow up. So it's really up to you which one you decide to go with. They're both pretty good engines. I believe this one's a lot more MJ, though, the biogas engine. So it's up to you. Other than that, that wraps up this portion of forestry, covering the peat and the basic ethanol and biomass. I'll cover some more later on. Alright, I'll see you all later.